AM 1220 KHTS. There's your host, Fred Arnold, on the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. I'm joined by my friend John Lite. John Lite is with State Farm Insurance Agency and a professional in the business for a couple decades, right?
Yeah.
And but also a good friend. We work out quite often in the morning together. This guy, he's the epitome of discipline. So wanted to have you on the show, talk a little bit about business discipline, if you will, helping people,
Of course,
with insurance. Want to cover two things with you, John: homeowners insurance and then life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So homeowners insurance. A lot of my clients that come in,
Yep.
and they need insurance. I call it homeowners. I also call it hazard, fire insurance. Tell us about the typical insurance you get for your home when you buy a home.
Well, typically when you talk about homeowners insurance, it encompasses all the coverages that you may want. People use hazard insurance, they use fire insurance. A fully covered homeowners policy covers all of that. You can't get in situations where, like out here, you have brush areas. A lot of insurance companies now will not cover the brush, in other words, the fire aspect. So we may have to do that, write it a little differently. We'll write that through California Fair Plan, and then we can write the rest of the coverages, which is called a wraparound. So for the most part, though, a homeowner's insurance policy will cover everything that you need.
What are some things you need to look at? Sometimes like bumping up inside contents, or what are some of the, if you will, for lack of a better term, and you'll have a better one, bump ups or increase in coverage that really make a sense to look at?
Well, that's a great question. A lot of people don't understand how much coverage do I need in my home. And there's a number, it's $200 a square foot. That's something that the Department of Insurance has put out. And they got that number, they determined that by all the, all the homes that were undercovered based on the wildfires we've had since Malibu. And $200 a square foot is basically a number they came up with, and that'll cover just about enough to recover a basic home. So I start with that number, and then we'll just work our way up based on your home, upgrades. Now you got to remember, it's not what you paid for the home, because that also includes the value of the property. It's what you want to cover to rebuild your property. So
if it were to burn down, but you don't have to buy the land again.
Correct. And then you have to look at personal property. That is 75% of the coverage of your dwelling amount. And that's a great amount that you have there. And then your liability as well.
Let's jump real quickly to condo insurance, or an HO6 policy.
Okay.
You buy a condo and you think it's covered because the homeowner association does have insurance, but you need to cover what's called the walls in.
Correct. Walls in is basically, that's it. Walls in, so floors, furniture, anything like that. The condo will cover floors out. You have to cover, and you got to make sure you have a high loss of use coverage in there as well.
Because you're going to be out of the place for some
Correct.
time. Especially if it's going to take a while to rebuild, because it might take a while for them to get to your unit.
Right, and loss assessment. Let me mention that, because they can assess coverages on you for covered losses, and if you don't have high enough coverage, you'll be out of pocket for that.
Yeah. Let's jump to another thing. People that buy a home usually look at, or have children, look at life insurance.
Fred, thank you. Life insurance is a must. In society, we don't want to, we plan to fail. We don't fail to plan. So we need life insurance for everything. Home is your biggest asset. You have a family, you want to protect that for the next 30 years. Get something in place. Sit down, talk to an agent. Most of the time, it's expensive, I can't afford it. Just sit down.
Now, there's several different types. I just want you to touch upon the names of them. There's term,
or I like to call temporary, because it is temporary. And then there's permanent as well. Different aspects when it comes to that, different advantages to it. Of course, term is cheaper. Then there's permanent, a lot of different things to it. So you just need to really sit down with a professional and discuss what's the best for you.
Yeah, go deep with it and understand, because you're looking at protecting yourself against risk. And then also, depending on the age of your children and the age of your age, really a lot of factors are built into that.
Of course, people want to wait. Do it when you're young and healthy. Mm-hmm. Let that grow. Let that keep growing. Do it for your kids when they're young and healthy. It's called the gift of life. It's perfect for them. Then you hand it over to them when they graduate. They can use the money for college, and it's cheap. You bought it for them when they were a kid. Just hand it over to them. And when they're healthy, you never know what can happen.
Yeah. Well, John Lite, how can those reach out to you, want to get you?
The quickest way is johnlite.net, JOHNLITE.net. That'll take you to my site, and everything is there for you.
Great. Phone number?
818-845-0453.
Thanks so much. Great working out with you at 4 in the morning.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hope you enjoyed this hour of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. If you want to reach me or recommend a great guest like John, email me, fred@fredarnold.com. Again, this is Fred Arnold from the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight on AM 1220 KHTS.